Hey. So I'm a bit of a hack with bikes, and I do have very strong opinions about how suspension and stuff should be set up. And for the most part, I think I can get it to not work like shit. But it's always nice to get help from a pro. And so we have Ian Massey of trailtechnique.com who's gonna check this thing out and see how far I am from where he thinks I should be. Because we all know I will ride pretty much anything, even if it rides like shit. Yeah.
First is I want to check your sweep. So you want your bar sweep to come to you. So I think it's going to be correct. But right now, if I look at your grips,
I don't know what
your
these things
ergon's
are,
rolled down. So your ergon should be slightly higher. But we'll see if it makes your bar sweep too high with the ergon. So go ahead and sit on your saddle. And what I want you to do is flat back, elbows outside the body. Perfect. Go ahead and scoot your seat butt back on the seat just a little bit. Perfect. So what we're looking for is not like a push-up, but we're pulling the bar apart. So I want the elbow to be able to move from there to there, but that humeral head stays, right? So we're thinking about squeezing right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick a band on you. What I want you to do is I want you to go like this. So chest comes up a little bit. Perfect. Hips are behind you. Relax those elbows. So the elbows are floating. Think pinkies and shoulder blades. Does that make sense?
Damn.
So now, do you feel how strong that is?
Yeah.
So where's that bike going to go? Nowhere. So now what we're going to do is I want you to come in just a smidgen. I want you to hold right about there. What width are these bars right now?
760.
Perfect. And what I'm going to do is, see how this is coming down just a little bit? I'm going to roll this grip up, because right now your grip is coming back, but your bar sweep is up, so it's actually taking away your bar sweep. Then we're going to bring these brake levers in slightly and down slightly to make it so that when you pull the lever, it goes into your elbow. Right now when you pull the lever, it goes in your wrist and your forearm. So you feel how it wants to go there?
Yeah.
Versus if you tug like that, pull back, it's going to stay there, which means you're going to get less arm pump in the rough. You'll be able to, so the less of this we have, the more of this we have. So when you're jumping, that tension, it's going to give you your timing. So if you're here, you have no idea what your pull timing is. Versus if you're there, the back knee bending is your lift, right? So it's going to make everything feel more connected. So we're going to go right about here now. I want that sweep's tip to match you.
Yeah, I've never used these grips before.
Some people like them, some people don't. But if they're not in the right spot, they feel even weirder, right?
Yeah.
So now go ahead and grab. And you feel a little more pressure right there, right? It makes it easier to get that engaged. So I want you, so this, you said they're 760 right now, the bars?
Yep.
Okay. So I think that sweep is coming up and back. So this is going to allow you to be able to, so you can move your elbow. So as long as this is engaged, you should be able to flap your wing. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come inboard on this a little bit and down just a little bit. I think they're a little high. So if you're standing up, what's it make the wrist want to do? Go like this. I want it so when you're up in the air, this line goes straight to the brake. So right now, see how it's kind of above?
Yeah.
So this matches here, but when you squeeze, it goes to there. Versus if we go like this, when you squeeze, is I want this to come inboard slightly on both of them, so it encourages the elbow to stay outside the body line. That way we can be more suspension, right? So if I'm like this, it wants to go this way. If I'm like this, it wants to go that way. So that's why it looks like a push-up, but it's really a row.
Yeah.
So you see how open the elbow wants to stay now? So you can move this around while you're squeezing. Right about there. Go and squeeze. So you see how nothing changes. You're not feeling any bend in the wrist, any changes. So now with the brake on, this is now more of a flick, which I think would be better. So this to there, what we want is we want this distance to be split. So if I go like this, then obviously this one's too far. If I go like this, then that one's too close. So what I want you to do is we're going to put your thumb in the middle, and that's where we want to go. So like this is, you have to go down a little. This you have to go up a little, right? That's what we want. So that's what you're doing, is you're fine tuning this. But if you have to go down to upshift, where's your body going to go? And if you're going to a harder gear, you're probably doing something where you don't want to have to move it, right? So the same thing with that angle. That angle is halfway between the two of these, which is what we would theoretically want. So go ahead and break that bar for me again. There we go, right? How strong does that feel?
Yeah.
So you don't move, and where's the wheel go right back to?
Straight.
So before all your jumps, if you exaggerate that tension, it's going to give you a faster lift moment, which means you'll be less behind the bike when you're making lift. And you have that kind of slight separation, and that's where people will kind of be landing like this. Versus if this is locked, where will theoretically your pelvis never be?
Behind the wheel.
Behind the bike. You'll be loaded into the back of the bike, but you'll never be behind it. You look like you're pushing, but you're pulling. And pulling makes the bike go forward, pushing makes the bike go down. Right? So in setting all these up, set them all up to what you like. That's your preference. So I like them pulling super early, but it's what you like, right? Yeah. So no, but that's a preferential thing. But what I want is your wrist to have to move as little as possible, right?
Yeah.
You can come forward and backwards and always be pulling apart the bar, and none of the controls are ever inaccessible. So only little changes, but I think it'll help get this engaged, which is what we hold ourselves up with, right?
If I'm on my front wheel and I walk to my back wheel, I never behind the bike.